3 days into Lauren's crucial conference in Miami, I sat alone at our kitchen table, staring at my phone like it had personally betrayed me. Her text was exactly what you'd expect from a loving wife on a work trip. "Babe, I miss you. These meetings are brutal. Can't wait to just be home with you." If you read that in a vacuum, you'd think I was a lucky man. But I wasn't in a vacuum. I had Nick's voice in my head. Nick Lawson, my old college roommate, doesn't call out of the blue. He texts, he sends memes, he talks trash about football. That afternoon, though, my phone lit up with his name and an actual call. I almost let it ring out. "Yo, Evan, quick question," he'd said, that pilot humming in the background. "Lauren's supposed to be in Miami for work, right?" "Yeah." "Why?" Pause just long enough to feel wrong. "Because I just saw her at MIA. She wasn't alone. And it didn't look like business." He described her standing by the gate, laughing with some guy, hand on his chest, his hand on her lower back. The kind of casual touch you don't fake with a coworker named Sarah. I remember my brain sprinting to keep up. Maybe he's mistaken. Maybe it was a coworker. Maybe there's some inside joke I don't know about. Maybe he'd snapped a picture from a distance, because Nick's the kind of guy who doesn't like guessing. He sent it to me. I opened it while still on the phone. It was her. No question. And the guy wasn't a coworker. He was comfortable. That night, the house felt too quiet. 7 years of trust sat across from me at that table, staring me down. I'd always bragged that I never checked her phone, never snooped. We were solid. That was the story I liked about myself. My laptop was on the counter. Her laptop was in her bag by the door, where she'd left it like always. For 2 hours, I fought the idea of touching it. Told myself good husbands don't snoop. Told myself I was better than that. Then I remembered the way her hand was sitting on that guy's chest in the photo. Relaxed. Familiar. I got up, walked to her bag, and unzipped it. My hands were steady. That surprised me. Her password was the same it had been for years. 4 letters, 2 numbers. I typed it, and just like that, 7 years of "I trust you" snapped. The emails weren't even hidden well. No secret folders. No fake work labels. Just Connor Hayes, sitting right there in her inbox. Threaded conversations stretching back 4 months. Hotel reservations. "Can't wait to see you." Same room as last time? Screenshots of flight confirmations that didn't match any conference she'd mentioned to me. I clicked through each one like I was reviewing a project timeline. Dates, locations, overlaps with the nights she'd come home, exhausted from travel, and gone straight to the shower. My body felt numb. Not shaking, not breaking down, just cold. Like someone had pulled a fire alarm in my chest and all the heat left. My phone buzzed again. Today was so long. Boring panels, fake smiles. "I miss my real life with you. Call you before bed?" I stared at the message, then at an email where she told Connor. "Dinner tonight? I booked the restaurant you liked last time. 2 different worlds, same woman, same day." I didn't throw the phone. I didn't scream. I didn't even respond right away. I just sat there, letting the 2 versions of her sit side by side on the screen until something inside me clicked over. When I finally typed, my thumbs moved slowly, precise. "Miss you too. Can't wait to have you home. Call me when you're free." I hit send. On the outside, nothing had changed. I was still the devoted husband she thought she was fooling. On the inside, the decision had already been made. This wasn't going to end in a shouting match or a tearful scene at the airport. If she wanted to live a double life, then I was done playing the clueless half. I wasn't going to react. I was going to plan. By the time I closed her laptop, I knew 2 things. 1, my marriage was already over. 2, I wasn't about to walk into a courtroom empty-handed. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat in the dark living room, the glow of the TV on mute, my phone face down on the coffee table. Around 2 in the morning, I finally accepted there was no misunderstanding coming to save this. At 8 sharp, I called Michael. My older brother doesn't do small talk before coffee. "Hey," he answered, voice rough. "Everything okay?" "No," I said. "I need a divorce lawyer." Silence. Then the rustle of him sitting up. You want to tell me why? For months, I said. Guy named Connor. Miami isn't a conference. A slow exhale on his end. I could picture him pressing his fingers into his temples. Okay, he said. You sure? I've got her emails, reservations. I'm sure. All right. First thing, don't confront her yet. Don't tip your hand. Second, you need proof that it isn't just you and her laptop. I'll text you a name. 30 minutes later, I was in my car, numb hands on the wheel, heading to a small office park on the edge of town. The place didn't look like TV, no blinds with silhouettes, no mystery. Just a door with frosted glass. Greg Foster Investigations. Greg looked like every middle-aged guy you'd see at Home Depot on a Saturday. Polo shirt, tired eyes, wedding ring. That somehow made it worse. He shook my hand, firm and professional. You're Michael's brother. Have a seat. Evan, tell me what's going on. So I did. Straight, no drama. I laid out Nick's call, the photo, the emails, the hotel confirmations. He listened without flinching, just jotting notes like I was reading off a grocery list. Name of your wife? He asked. Lauren Parker, 33, marketing manager. Other party? The phrase hit harder than it should have. Connor Hayes. I don't know much more yet. He nodded, writing it down. You said Miami. How long is she there? Gets back Saturday night. Ocean View Resort. Supposedly. I almost laughed at that. He tapped his pen against the notepad, thinking, all right, here's what I can do. I've got a guy down there I trust. We'll get eyes on them. Photos, video, timestamps. Airport, hotel, restaurants. You'll have a clean timeline. He slid a simple contract across the desk. It was all very matter-of-fact. Hourly rate, expenses, signature line. As I signed, I caught the header. Client, Evan Parker subject, Lauren Parker other party, Connor Hayes. That was the moment it stopped being my private nightmare and became a case. When do you start? I asked. Today, he said. Text me her itinerary, whatever you've got. We'll coordinate from there. You'll get updates as they come in. Are you sure you're ready to see it? I've already seen enough, I said. Now I just want it documented. On the drive home, my phone buzzed. How's your day? Babe? I feel bad I'm missing you this week. I stared at it, then at the unknown number Greg had given me for secure updates. 2 tracks, 2 versions of my life. I typed, today's okay, just work. Miss you too. How's the conference? 3 dots appeared immediately, long and boring. You know how it is. Can't wait to be home with you. I sent the screenshot of her flight and hotel confirmation to Greg right after. Same phone, same thumbs, different purposes. If she wanted to write fiction over text, fine. I'd answer in character. But somewhere, in a folder with my name on it, the truth was about to start piling up. Thursday morning, my life looked normal if you didn't look too closely. The coffee maker gurgled. The neighbor's dog barked like always. My inbox was full of minor fires waiting to be put out. I took the day off anyway. Family emergency was close enough to the truth. Michael showed up at 9, suit on, briefcase in hand, expression set in that neutral lawyer face he uses when he's about to ruin someone's day professionally. He stepped into the dining room, took in the empty plates, the clean table, the hollow quiet. You okay? He asked. I'm functional, I said. That's enough. We spread everything out where we used to do Sunday pancakes. Now it was asset breakdowns, bank accounts, house titles, retirement funds. He walked me through it like a client, not a brother. Once you sign this and we file, there's no clean way back, he said. Even if you reconcile, it'll never be what it was. What it was is dead, I said. I just need the paperwork to catch up. I signed where he pointed. Name after name. Line after line, marriage reduced to lines and percentages. Then we got to the part that wasn't strictly legal. You want to serve her quietly? He asked. Just you and her? Or are you planning something else? I'm hosting dinner tomorrow, I said. Her parents, maybe my folks later. I'm done helping her look like the good one. He watched me for a long second. You sure you're not doing this just to hurt her? Oh, I'm definitely going to hurt her, I said. I'm just not doing it instead of moving on. I want witnesses. I want everyone to see who ended this. He nodded slowly. Then do it clean. No yelling. No hands. No threats. You stay calm. She looks worse. That's the plan. After he left, the house felt even emptier. I started cleaning, not normal cleaning. I pulled old photos off shelves, wiped dust off frames before stacking them face down in a box. I changed our bed, folded her side's pillowcases like I was closing a file. My phone buzzed every hour or so. Beach view from my room, wish you were here. Panel just ended. So tired, love you, baby. I texted back like a man in a play. Looks beautiful. Hang in there. Love you too. On the table, next to my phone, the divorce papers sat in a neat stack. The marriage might still technically exist on paper, but in my head, it was already over. Now I just had to make sure everyone else saw the body. Friday afternoon, a few hours before her flight landed, I drove to Robert and Linda Bennett's house. I'd only ever pulled into that driveway for holidays, birthdays, barbecue Sundays, normal life stuff. Walking up the front steps with a folder under my arm felt wrong, like I was bringing a weapon into a church. Linda opened the door with her usual soft smile. Evan, honey, this is a surprise. Is everything okay? Not really, I said. Can I talk to you and Robert? Both of you. It's important. Something in my voice must have tipped her off. The smile dropped a notch. Of course. Come in. They sat across from me in the same living room where I'd once stumbled through asking for their blessing to marry Lauren. Back then, my hands had shaken from nerves. Now they shook for a different reason. What's going on? Robert asked, leaning forward, elbows on his knees. I set the folder on the coffee table and didn't sugarcoat it. Lauren's been having an affair, I said. For months that I know of. A guy named Connor Hayes. She's in Miami with him right now. Linda's hand flew to her mouth. Robert's jaw tightened, a muscle jumping near his temple. Evan, Linda whispered. There must be some mistake. I opened the folder. Printed emails, hotel reservations, screenshots, and finally, a few color photos Greg had already sent over, printed at the copy shop on my way there. Lauren in an airport, laughing up at Connor, his hand low on her back. Them checking into the Ocean View resort together. Not side by side. Together. I slid the pages toward them and let the silence do the talking. Linda's eyes moved over the words, then the photos. Her shoulders started to shake before the tears came. Robert read every page, jaw locked, nostrils flaring like he was holding something in with sheer will. How long have you known? He asked. Since Tuesday, I said. Confirmed it that night. Hired a PI. This is just the start of what I'll have. Linda put the papers down like they burned. My baby wouldn't. Her voice cracked. She didn't finish the sentence. I let myself be harsh, just once. She did. Repeatedly. We sat there in a thick, suffocating quiet. Finally, I broke it. I'm hosting dinner tomorrow. 7 o'clock. I want you there. Robert frowned. Dinner. I'm ending the marriage, I said. I'm not doing it in private. I want her to face what she did with people who love her in the room. I'm done helping her hide. Linda wiped her eyes, hands trembling. Are you sure you want to do that to her? In front of us? She did this to herself, I said. I'm just refusing to be her alibi. Robert looked at me, really looked at me, like he was recalibrating who I was now. Then he nodded once, heavy. We'll be there. Linda broke then. Really broke, turning her face away as she started to sob quietly. Robert moved to hold her, his big frame suddenly looking older. I stood up. There was nothing left to say that wouldn't feel cheap. As I walked down their hallway toward the front door, I heard Linda crying behind the closed living room door. It felt like I just handed them a death notice with their daughter's name on it. They deserved the truth. I reminded myself as I stepped back into the cold air. Lauren had lit the match. I was just making sure everyone could see the fire. Friday felt like the morning of a scheduled execution. I called into work, told my boss there was a family situation, and I'd be offline. He offered sympathy. I gave non-answers. I didn't have room in my head for anything except tonight at 7. By 10 a.m., Greg texted, "Video's ready. Office?" His place was on the other side of town. The drive felt shorter than it should have. When I walked into his office, he didn't bother with small talk. Just handed me a USB drive in a small envelope. 12 minutes, he said. Dates, timestamps, locations all on screen. Airport, hotel lobby, restaurant, hallway. It's clear. Any doubt it's them? I asked even though I already knew. He gave me a look. None. I paid him, shook his hand, and left. Clean transaction. My marriage converted to evidence and a receipt. Back home, I went straight to the living room. I plugged the drive into the TV, queued up the video, and ran it from start to finish. No glitches, no lag. Just Lauren and Connor moving through those frames like they had no idea I existed. Her laughing at the airport. Her walking arm in arm through the lobby. Her leaning in across a restaurant table, fingertips on his wrist. That long hallway kiss outside a hotel room door in the middle of the day. I watched it twice, not for the pain, I was already past the sharp part, but for logistics, angles, sound, flow, making sure that when I pressed play tonight, nothing would save her. After that, I turned to the house. If I was going to bury this marriage, I was going to do it with clean lines. I pulled out the wedding china we almost never used, set the dining table like it was Christmas. Full place settings, crystal glasses, cloth napkins folded clean. The room looked like it was waiting for a holiday toast, not a demolition. Then I started cooking. Her favorite, herb-roasted chicken with garlic potatoes and green beans. The same meal she taught me early on. Standing behind me, arms around my waist, guiding my hands with some cheesy line about feeding a man is loving a man. Now it was just muscle memory. Season, sear, roast, chop, boil, mash, pan, plate, repeat. The kitchen filled with the smell of a life I was about to cut off. My phone kept buzzing on the counter. Boarding now. Can't wait to see you landing in 20. Save me from bad airport food, LOL. So excited to be home with you tonight, you have no idea. I answered on autopilot. Can't wait to see you too. Drive safe from the airport. Dinner at 7. Your parents are coming over. Thought it'd be nice. 3 dots. Ah, that's sweet. They'll love that. Love you. I put the phone face down next to the USB drive. Around 6:30, Robert and Linda arrived. They looked like they'd each aged a decade in 24 hours. Robert's shoulders were slumped. Linda's eyes were already red. Thank you for coming, I said. Linda tried to smile. Came out broken. We thought we should be here. I sat them in the living room, not the dining room. TV off for now. Lights low but not dramatic. Just clear. The food was done. The table was set. The video was ready. The papers were waiting in my study. The house didn't feel like a home anymore. It felt like a courtroom right before the judge walked in. At 6:58, my phone buzzed one more time, pulling into the neighborhood. Be there in a minute. I slipped it into my pocket, took a breath, and glanced at her parents. They both looked toward the front door like it might bite. A few seconds later, I heard it. Her key in the lock. The familiar click of the deadbolt turning. Showtime. The door swung open and Lauren stepped in like it was any other Friday night. Hey, babe, she called, rolling her suitcase over the threshold. She dropped her bag, crossed the room, and kissed me. Quick, practiced, automatic. It felt like being touched by a stranger wearing my wife's face. Then she heard her mother. Hi, sweetheart, Linda said, voice thin. Lauren froze, halfway to unbuttoning her coat. Mom? Dad? What are you doing here? Her eyes bounced from them to the set dining table, then back to me. Confusion, not fear, yet. I wanted us all together tonight, I said. Got something we need to watch. I led them into the living room. I sat in the armchair. Her parents took the couch. I left Lauren standing for an extra beat before I gestured to the single chair between them and the TV. Sit, Lauren. She did. Slow. I didn't drag it out. For 7 years, I started. I loved you, trusted you, and believed pretty much everything that came out of your mouth. She gave a small, nervous laugh. Okay. Why are you talking like a eulogy? Because it is, I said. Past tense. Her smile died. I picked up the remote. 12 minutes. That's all this will take. I hit play. The room went quiet except for the TV. There she was on screen, laughing with Connor at the airport, his hand resting easy on her back. Timestamps in the corner. The same day she texted me she was stuck in a workshop. Cut to the Ocean View lobby. Them checking in together. The same night she told me she was crashing early with room service and slides. Restaurant scene. Wine glasses. Her leaning in, fingers on his wrist. That look she used to save for me. Finally, the hallway footage. Middle of the day. No rush. Just a long, unhurried kiss outside a hotel room door. Like the world didn't exist. I didn't look at the screen. I watched her. Her face went from confusion to denial to something like naked panic. Her breathing got shallow. Hands clenched on her knees. Robert was the first to speak when the video ended. How long? His voice was low, shaking with anger he was barely holding back. Lauren swallowed. Dad. It's not. This isn't Gregging footage can be. For months, I said, cutting through her. At least. Confirmed in emails. Reservations. This was just Miami. She turned to me, eyes wide, tears already starting. Evan, please, it was a mistake. I shook my head. A mistake is tripping once. You booked flights, rooms, dinners. You lied every morning. You woke up in my bed and chose him again. Linda started crying, quiet and continuous. Robert stared at his daughter like he didn't recognize her. Is it true? He asked her. Yes or no? She folded. Yes, she whispered. But He stood up, cutting her off. I can't listen to this. Linda rose with him, wiping her face. She turned to me, voice breaking. Evan, I'm so sorry. You didn't deserve this. You've handled this with more dignity than she has. I just nodded. Words felt cheap. They walked past their daughter without touching her. When the front door closed behind them, the room felt heavier and strangely lighter at the same time. 7 years didn't just feel over. They'd been officially pronounced dead. After her parents left, the silence was brutal. Lauren was still on the couch, mascara smeared, staring at the blank TV screen like the video might start again. She finally whispered, What now? I stayed standing. Distance mattered. Now you pack a bag and leave. Her head snapped toward me. Tonight. Yeah, tonight. She stood slowly, like her legs didn't trust her. Evan, can we please just talk about this? We can do counseling, we can... No, I said. We can't. Michael's already drafted the divorce papers. The house is in my name from my inheritance. With what I've got on you, there's no alimony. You walked out on this marriage months ago. Tonight is just you catching up. She winced like I'd slapped her. It was a mistake, okay? I was stressed and he... Stop calling it a mistake. I cut in. You didn't trip and fall into 4 months of hotel rooms. You chose him. Over and over. You chose to lie to me. Every single day. Her voice cracked. Don't I get a chance to fix it? No, I said simply. You got hundreds of chances. You cashed them in for room keys and fake conferences. I walked to my study, grabbed the manila envelope, and came back. I handed it to her. Those are the papers. Look them over with your lawyer. Sign them or don't. Either way, this is over. You've got 1 hour to pack what you need for a while. I'll box the rest and we'll arrange a pickup later. I'm not dragging this out. She stared at the envelope like it might explode. 1 hour? Evan, where am I supposed to go? You should have thought about that when you booked your last hotel. I said. The clock starts now. Then I turned and walked to my study, closed the door, and sat down at my desk. I didn't check on her. I didn't hover. I just listened. Drawers opening, closet doors sliding, hangers scraping, suitcase zippers, the thud of shoes tossed in, the muffled curse when something didn't fit. Every sound is another nail in the coffin. About 45 minutes later, there was a soft knock on the study door. I didn't answer. A moment passed. Then I heard her keys placed on the kitchen counter. Footsteps to the bedroom. The soft clink of metal when she left her ring on the dresser. The front door opened, closed. The house went absolutely still. I waited a full minute before I got up. In the kitchen, her keys sat in a small pile. In the bedroom, her ring lay in the dent where her jewelry tray used to be. On the nightstand was a folded piece of paper with my name on it. I opened it, skimmed just enough to get the idea. Apologies, excuses. Not who I really am. I still love you. All of it in neat, looping handwriting. I crumpled it and tossed it in the trash. Apologies without changed behavior, I thought, are just ink on paper. And I was done building my life around ink. I filed the divorce papers on Monday morning. No drama, no big speech. I just walked into the courthouse with a folder under my arm, handed everything over, and let the clerk stamp the end of a 7-year story like it was any other case. Lauren's lawyer tried to posture for about 5 minutes. Emails about equitable solutions and emotional distress. Then Michael sent over the compiled evidence. After that, their tone shifted fast. No one wants to fight a losing war on paper. The house turned on me next. Every room felt haunted. The couch where we'd watched movies. The hallway where she'd once come home late and cried from work stress. The bed where she'd rolled over and kissed me goodnight before early flights that weren't for work. So I sold it. Realtor signs in the yard, strangers walking through, complimenting the natural light like they weren't standing on the grave of my old life. I took the first clean offer and didn't look back. I moved into a smaller place closer to the office. 2 bedrooms, simple layout, nothing fancy. I bought new furniture with a kind of cold practicality. Solid couch, decent mattress, kitchen table big enough for 4 if I ever needed it. No statement pieces. Just things that were mine, bought with no shared input. No, what do you think, babe? Robert and Linda didn't disappear. If anything, they came closer. Linda dropped off homemade soup and cookies more than once, always with a note. You're still family to us. Please don't forget that. Robert called every week or so, checking in, talking about nothing and everything. Work, football, his car. Anything that let me be a man again instead of just the guy our daughter cheated on. Work became my refuge. I took on projects I used to turn down. Stayed late because the empty apartment was quieter than the office. The focus paid off. 6 months in, my boss called me in and dropped the word promotion on the table. I nodded, saying I appreciated the opportunity. Inside, I translated it as, at least some part of my life is moving forward. Friends showed up in their own way. Pizza on the coffee table, beers in hand, talking trash about sports instead of asking me how I felt. It was the kind of support I could actually stand. Nick flew in one weekend. We sat on my small balcony with a couple of beers. You regret how you did it? He asked finally. The video, her parents, all of it. I took a long drink, thought about it, and shook my head. No, she made it a performance the moment she started lying to everyone. I just turned the lights on. He nodded like that and settled it. Somewhere in the middle of all that, life shifted gears without asking me. Rachel Collins from work asked if I wanted to grab coffee and not talk about spreadsheets for once. She'd heard something had happened with my marriage, nothing more. Coffee turned into a weekly thing. Weekly turned into the occasional dinner. From the start, I was clear. I'm not ready to be serious, I told her. I'm still rebuilding. She just shrugged. Good. I'm not looking to fix anyone. Just like talking to you. It wasn't some movie rebound. No fireworks. Just 2 people telling the truth, day by day. For the first time in a long time, that was enough. The divorce decree showed up in the mail on a Wednesday. Plain envelope, official seal, a couple of pages saying what I already knew. We were done. Legally, finally, cleanly. I invited my parents, Michael, and Rachel over that night. Nothing big. Just takeout, a six-pack, and a quiet toast at my small kitchen table. To new beginnings, Michael said, raising his bottle. To be honest, I added. Rachel bumped her glass lightly against mine. Do you not have to pretend anymore? After they left and the dishes were done, I took a beer out to the balcony and sat alone, letting the city noise fill the gaps. That's when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. My first instinct was to let it ring out. Habit made me answer. Hello, Evan. Her voice. Lauren. Smaller somehow. It's me. I didn't say anything for a second. The old version of me would have filled the silence. The new version let her sit in it. I heard. The divorce went through, she said. I thought you might want to know I got the papers too. I almost laughed. Yeah, the government usually sends those to both people. She breathed out, a shaky sound. I wanted to say goodbye properly. Not with papers. With words. You didn't bother with those when it counted, I said. But there was no real heat behind it. Just a fact. She swallowed. Connor cheated on me, she said quietly. With someone from his office. I found out last week. Saw the messages. The hotel charges. The same patterns. I let that hang between us. For a second, she went on, voice breaking. I felt like someone had kicked a hole in my chest. And then I realized, this is what I did to you. Over and over. I'm so sorry, Evan. I know that doesn't fix anything. But I need you to know I finally understand. I waited for the satisfaction I always thought I'd feel if she got what she gave. It didn't show up. All I felt was inevitability. Are you happy? She asked quietly. Honestly, I looked back inside at the small, clean apartment. The empty plates from dinner. The promotion letter on my counter. Rachel's forgotten sweater on the back of a chair. Yeah, I said. In a way I didn't realize I wasn't. Before all this blew up, there was a pause. I could hear her crying, trying to keep it controlled. I don't expect you to forgive me, she said. I just needed to tell you I'm sorry, and that you didn't deserve any of it. I surprised both of us with what came out of my mouth next. I forgive you, I said. She went silent. You do? Yeah, I said. Not to rewrite what happened. Not to pretend it's okay. But I'm not interested in carrying you around in my head forever. I've got better things to do. On the other end, I heard her exhale almost like a sob. Thank you, she whispered. Take care of yourself, Lauren, I said. For real this time. You too, she answered. The line went dead. I stared at the dark phone screen for a second, then set it down. For the first time since that text in my kitchen. I miss you. These meetings are brutal. I felt something click loose and fall away inside me. The last tether was gone. A message lit up the screen. Rachel, thanks again for tonight. I feel lucky to know you. I smiled, small but real, and typed back. I'm the lucky one. I sat back in the chair, scarred but steady, and thought about the one thing this whole mess had given me. A hard line. A line I'd never cross again, and never let anyone else drag me over. From here on out, my life was built on something simple and non-negotiable: honesty, self-respect, and the understanding that sometimes the worst thing that ever happens to you is just the moment you finally stop accepting less than you deserve.
Subscribe and stay one step ahead of cheaters. And trust me, the next story makes this one look like a fairy tale.